So I recently did one of these TikToks that has had a few views now about the school system. I do have a few issues. I think we all do with the school system. Being autistic and ADHD, it's not easy to be at school. Barely any of my tribe made it through school. It was really hard. I certainly struggled as well. I couldn't make it past grade 10. I just got bored. Being autistic, my brain is very purpose-driven, and if I don't see purpose in something, I won't do it, which was really the subject of the last TikTok. So I suppose the question got asked by a few people as to, well, how do we fix it? What's next? What can we do instead? And I think there's a lot of answers to that. I think the first one is we need to take away the focus of curriculum and understand that most of the curriculum doesn't relate to a lot of us anymore. We also need to stop this idea that there is one curriculum for every brain. I'm afraid not all of us are going to need to know Shakespeare. We're not all going to need to do algebra. We're not all going to need to have a heavy sports background. You know, like some of us are highly successful in life and yet we didn't do any of those things. The curriculum needs to be based on what we need to get out of life and the kind of job we may end up being. Like I see people who are multiply disabled who are still getting assessed via a curriculum that is not going to relate to their functional capacity later on in life. They're not going to be standing in a retail job doing things like that, needing to know basic maths and English. You know, the curriculum for them needs to be adapted around the functional skills that they're going to need to have. And the curriculum needs to be embedded into interests. So there should be streams like an animal stream, an arts and crafts stream, a trade and building stream, streams about different topics of interest. And any functional literacy, numeracy, problem solving needs to be wrapped around those interest areas. That's the only way to keep autistic brains engaged. We have to actually care about what we're learning about. We have to want to learn it. Or there's no way you can keep an ADHD brain focused on anything that doesn't have that naturally occurring dopamine because we're fascinated and we're interested. The days need to be shorter. There needs to be no homework. There needs to be much more play embedded into learning. There needs to be more breaks so people can access movement or intellectual stimulation, use their iPads. Gaming and devices needs to not be such a demonized and dirty thing. Kids need this. There needs to be a lot more flexibility. You know, it's funny how we call autistic people as very rigid thinkers, yet a lot of the neurotypicals refuse to change the way they're doing anything. So who really is the rigid thinkers? I don't know. I think it goes both ways, but changes are needed and changes are urgent.